Hey folks, Alex McMahon here of Evolved Nutritional Therapy. This is going to be the 5th video in our series on fasting, and our topic for today are those people who I don't feel like should be fasting. Now, a lot of the reasons that these people fall within this group is because not all stress is bad. In fact, stress is a good thing for us if we have the ability to recover from it and grow stronger and have a positive adaptation. Now, for people who are in some of these situations, they already have such a high stress burden that when you add more stress onto it, their ability to actually recover from it and have something be beneficial come from it is actually going to not be there. They just don't have the resources to recover from any additional stresses. So a lot of the people who I'm going to recommend should not fast kind of fall into that category where they already have an overabundance of stress happening in their life. The very first group of people are going to be those with adrenal disorders. So the big thing is, for many people with adrenal disorders, they already have underfunctioning adrenals because their adrenals have been overburdened with the production of stress hormones and probably just overall life stress. By adding something like fasting into the mix that only will put more stress on their adrenal glands, they can quickly go from worn out to totally fried and zapped. So we want to avoid intermittent fasting to allow that person to recover and to not have any excess stress placed on those adrenal glands. People who are sleep deprived are also probably not going to find a lot of benefit from intermittent fasting because, number one, they're already going to have a large abundance of the stress hormone cortisol flowing through their body. That's actually going to make them much more impulsive around food, which is going to make it a lot more difficult to intermittent fast. And then when somebody's sleep deprived, they're also going to have a much more difficult time regulating their blood sugar. So their appetite is going to be very up and down throughout the day, and there's going to be a lot of lows where people are going to feel very extreme kind of impulsive hunger. So for people who are already sleep deprived, placing an excess stress on them with intermittent fasting isn't going to actually provide any benefits, and it can make things much worse with the production of stress hormones. High-intensity athletes. For people who are high-intensity athletes, they're going to require to eat to be able to perform in the gym, but also afterwards to be able to recover. Now, to be able to kind of fix this, with your intermittent fasting, it's going to make it really difficult to be able to get the benefits of intermittent fasting and to fast for long enough to experience those benefits, but then also be able to recover and to perform in the gym within the same time frame. So for people who are high-intensity athletes that require a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of glycogen and things like that, such as CrossFitters or MMA athletes or some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes, you're going to need to be more concerned with performance than you will with something like fasting if you really want to perform your best in the gym. People who are overly stressed, the big thing is for a lot of those folks, they're going to have a combination of a lot of these. So they are typically going to be folks who are not getting nearly enough sleep. They could be under eating a lot of the time. They could have significant financial, work, or relationship stresses that just kind of make their stress stack way too high. By adding something like intermittent fasting on top of that all, it's only going to make their stress burden even bigger, and it has the ability to now kind of switch them over to negative adaptations. They could start to have much more dysregulated appetite. There could be some negative metabolic effects. And then they could actually get a worse hormonal profile because the need for stress hormones is going to far exceed their need to have things like estrogen or testosterone. So the body will actually start to divert those hormones over to making stress hormones. Lastly, or second to last, is going to be pregnant women. No. The very last people we're going to be talking about are those with binge tendencies. The big thing is that I have heard from person after person who has explained to me that intermittent fasting made it really difficult for them to control their appetite at the end of the day when they would actually break their fast. Now, if somebody already has disordered eating and that's a difficult struggle that they deal with, adding something like fasting to the mix could make this much, much worse for them. So if somebody already has disordered eating, by trying to add intermittent fasting to this, it could already make it much worse and kind of push this person further down that path towards even further disordered eating. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And in video 6, we're going to be discussing the different methods that you can use for intermittent fasting. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in video 6.